Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the changes made to barrel attachments in the fall patch. The heavy barrel was buffed and the muzzle brake wasn't really buffed or nerfed, with both its positives and negatives reduced, but I will say that it pretty much sucks. Let's start with the heavy barrel. I made a video about it earlier about how it was an underrated attachment, and that is even more so now after the patch. Lots of people continue to run the standard barrel or flash hider unaware of the buff. Now, not only was the attachment statistically buffed, the elimination of visual recoil also increased the effectiveness of the weapon, or at least the feel of effectiveness, because the visual recoil change didn't affect statistics, but it definitely affected the feel of recoil. The reticle doesn't move nearly as much, and so effectively the amount of recoil percepted is reduced. Now, on top of that, there was the statistical buff. The heavy barrel reduces starting ADS spread by 50%, which is the main accuracy stat most people focus on. For example, a typical assault rifle would have its starting spread halved from 0.2 to 0.1, a light machine gun from 0.3 to 0.15, and so on. Although this only directly buffs the starting spread, the overall spread is also reduced, making it more accurate in the long run, especially the first shot though, and this is very useful for tap firing and microbursting. It also reduces spread increase per shot by 7.5%. This is going to allow for better accuracy over longer bursts or even mag dumping if that's your style. Although I will admit a 7.5% reduction is pretty negligible. There's also a 16.7% decrease in the ADS movement spread penalty. Please be aware, this isn't a 16.7% reduction straight off the strafing ADS spread, but rather off the difference between the strafing spread and the starting spread. Standing spread. For example, in a standard assault rifle, the ADS movement spread penalty is 1 minus the 0.2, which is 0.8. So the penalty is reduced by 16.7% to 0.67, meaning the strafing ADS accuracy is 0.87. This would be very different. Between the different types of weapons, such as standard and bullpup assault rifles, standard and bullpup carbines, standard and bullpup PWs, light machine guns, and so forth. This improves strafing ADS accuracy slightly, which is useful to me since I strafe quite a lot as a way of making myself a harder target. Now we get to the negatives, or should I say negative, because there's only one, which is a 30% increase in vertical recoil. For example, the Ace-23 southwards recoil of 0.36 would be increased to 0.468. While this may sound like a lot, I recommend you try it out before judging it, because due to the reduction in visual recoil, it's now quite inaccurate to judge a weapon's recoil from statistics alone, as we haven't quite adapted to the new recoil system. So to sum up, the heavy barrel drastically increases starting ADS accuracy, as well as improving spread increase per shot and ADS strafing accuracy at the cost of an increase in upwards recoil. Now let's move on to the muzzle brake. Honestly, right now it's pretty useless because the effects are virtually negligible. Its benefit is that it reduces vertical recoil by 10%. The downsides are 12.5% more spread increase per shot, and also 12.5% more maximum spread. If applied to an Ace-23, vertical recoil will be reduced from 0.36 to 0.324, and the spread increase per shot will be increased from 0.1 to 0.1125. The maximum isn't a really important stat, and there's this crazy ass equation for figuring it out, so basically just ignore it. So my opinion is that this is a pretty bad attachment, since the minuscule benefit in recoil is not only negligible, it's totally not worth the accuracy penalties, especially with the elimination of visual recoil. I really wouldn't recommend running this attachment for two reasons. It basically doesn't do anything good, and its negatives outweigh the positives, so it'll probably be worse overall. So basically, the heavy barrel is now really good if you can handle the recoil increase, which should be doable for most players, and the muzzle brake is probably something you want to stay away from. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and peace out.